Ladies and gentlemen, 49 coming at you with another community shoutcast for the OUSA Dota League Season 1. Just loading into game number 2 of Recursion up against 2IP. This is a grudge match best of 2 series, as Recursion and 2IP were meant to play early in the week. Recursion couldn't make the agreed time, so it counted as a forfeit, but in the end they were able to sort something out, so now they're playing their best of 2 series. 2IP able to take a very convincing game 1 victory, with the MVPs being the Storm Spirit played by Mule, able to completely dominate Arab King who played Silencer in the mid lane, as well as the Sand King who was able to get a very fast Blink Dagger. So my flatmate Jamie just screwing around with the channel settings. I think he changed it to something like 40 Wu-Tang. So we're about to load into game number 2. Recursion have first pick this time over on the Dire side. So we're just waiting for their captain Drew's man to load in, although their drafter is Arab King. Over on 2IP, you've got their captain Yoda King Tut. And the reference to Yoda King Tut and stand-in Jamie being Egyptian slut is the theme for Hyde Street. As it turns out, Yoda lives just down the road from us over on 16 Hyde. So the theme for his flat is King Tut and Egyptian sluts. So Jamie's jumping back in on top of that theme. As I think the offlane player 2Easy actually had to drop out of the tournament for personal reasons. So this is their last game that they have to play. They do have one more game to play against Horseman the Ruckus, but I think in light of the fact that 2Easy has dropped out, they might just consider that one a forfeit, since Horseman the Ruckus were able to take a game off them anyway. And so we're just waiting for Drew's man to load in. This could actually be a remake if he's unable to load in on time. Never mind, yeah, there we go. He just barely connects into the game. Maybe his computer was having issues, or maybe his internet was. At any rate, we are into the drafting stage for game number 2. Recursion going in with the first pick.
Dire team ban.
Jamie's in his room. I think you guys can probably hear him screaming in the background. I think he's probably yelling out pick Sand King again, his favorite hero. Was able to finally pick him up. Lone Druid ban coming up from Recursion. I think they must have been watching the games yesterday. It's actually Yoshi from Team Blink who was standing in that played the Lone Druid, so they had nothing to fear from the boys over in 2IP. Although then again, we never know, Yoda could play Lone Druid. Ember Spirit and Slark, very standard bans coming out from 2IP.
Team pick.
As well as the Invoker from Recursion. Although, as we've seen so far in games, Invoker, when he's first picked up, isn't usually as effective as you'd like. As you'd like to see, just because he either gets outlanes in the laning phase, and 2IP up against Bambi Rising. Game number 2, Thundergun played Invoker up against Doombringer, was severely outlaned. 5-200 Bambi, dead Bambi's was able to out-CS him and transition into a much more stronger mid to late game presence. A Lycan first pick. Wolfkind played a phenomenal Lycanthrope in game number 1. We'll see what he does in game number 2. Timbersaw first pick up from Recursion. Timbersaw, very good counter to Lycan, just because you've got the pure damage coming up from Welling Death, which also reduces his base strength. Dazzle has the second pickup, so it looks like 2IP is sticking what they know. Lycanthrope, Deathfall push. Disruptor picked up for Recursion, so what's the definition of mentality again? Doing the same thing over and over again and hoping for different results. So Disruptor pickup from Recursion was completely ineffective. He got maybe 1-2 kills with the Glimpse Static Storm combination. Otherwise, he just fed either to Storm Spirit, he could just zip zap in, silence him before he could get off his Glimpse, pull him into the Vortex, and start going to Pound Town. Third ban, Sand King, respect ban over to 2IP for their stand-in Egyptian slut. Jamie, my flatmate, who played a fantastic Sand King. I think Jesse from Horseman the Ruckus never drives Sand King, so that makes him pretty sad. We've got a third ban, Naga Siren, to counteract, who was a fantastic counter to the Lycan. As during Shapeshift, you could ensnare him, lock him in place with the 5-second ensnare. If he pops BKB, it doesn't matter. You could also use your ultimate to freeze the rest of his team, lock him down with ensnare, and then go to town on him while the rest of his team is sleeping, and then able to react. Fourth ban coming up from Recursion.
5 seconds remaining.
Outwill Destroyer, so they don't want to deal with that dominant mid lane hero. Although Outwill Destroyer hasn't actually been as effective as you'd like, and so far in the ODL1, just because he is very skill intensive as well. If you don't completely destroy your lane and are able to get as much CS and farm as you can during that stage, you do taper off very quickly once the mid game happens.
10 seconds
when
remaining.
you're dealing with more than one hero. Just because Outwill Destroyer is a hero that needs a really dominating early game start to play. He can't really play catch up, as his ultimate and his primary form of damage. His Sanity's Eclipse is based entirely off his intelligence. If you don't have that much intelligence because you're underleveled or underfarmed, you're just going to tickle the enemy heroes. You're not really going to do as much damage as you potentially could do. 2IP deliberating for their fourth ban. With the Timbersaw, they might start picking up heroes that counteract the Timbersaw in lanes. They're banning out Luna. Crash is favorite
Radiant team pick.
tri-lane hero. Very aggressive hero. Crashed, unfortunately, went for a very greedy build, and so did Virgil Turd over to Nature's Prophet. That didn't work well compared to the early aggression from 2IP. They were able to capitalize on the greed and just smacked him around. Vengeful Spirit picked up, so Dazzle, and we've got a Wisp pick up. I don't think I've seen Wisp in ODL 1 at all so far. It'll be interesting to see what Recursion can do with him. Wisp is one of those heroes that requires impeccable team coordination to be effective, as Wisp has 0 armor, is incredibly squishy. If Wisp is caught at all in a position and isn't able to tether the safety, he will take a fall very quickly, especially when you consider the recent nerf so that his tether no longer stuns and only snares. It's a significant nerf over to Wisp, as he no longer has that CC duration
10
until it
seconds
came with the
remaining.
tether. So in that case, he might even just stick with 1 point up in the tether, choose to get early points up in
5
Overload.
seconds remaining.
Very effective carry steroid. So Recursion could actually be going for a Tiny with the Wisp. There are a few heroes that
Reserve
combo really
time.
well with the Wisp. Wisp Tiny, Wisp CK is the standard build. Wisp Tiny also works very well because Overload provides Tiny the movement speed as well as the attack speed to be able to right click like crazy, as it's his only drawback as a carry hero. He hits like a truck and he has a huge amount of cleave damage once he picks up his Agnum Scepter, so giving him the Overload attack speed as well as the tether movement speed enables Tiny just to rampage through the enemy lines and rain a lot of ruckus. Fourth pick coming up from 2IP. They're contemplating the Dazzle pickup. They've already chosen all their tri-lane heroes, and whereas Recursion have their offlaners, so they want to pick an offlane hero that could go well against the Timbersaw. They've gone for Puck, so Puck over in the mid lane.
Dire team
Could be
pick.
played either by Thundercunt or by Mule. 2IP is a team that are very flexible with their roles. Their players have particular heroes as opposed to particular roles, and even then there's a lot of overlap between them, so it gives them a lot more flexibility in the drafting stage. They can always switch it up, use it to disorientate their enemies. So Recursion going in for the fourth pickup. If Timbersaw does go 1v3 against this tri-lane with the Vengeful Spirit as well as the Dazzle, he'll be having an awful time, as Vengeful Spirit can catch him in position with the Magic Missile, Dazzle can lock him in place with a Poison Touch.
10 seconds
Timber
remaining.
Chain can be interrupted, so they're going for the Sven carry, so Sven Io,
Radiant team ban.
another very classic combination. The relocation ganks give Sven a lot of mid-game presence, as you could enables him to jump right in the face of somebody and start going to town, whacking people down. Overload gives Sven the attack speed, which is his only limitation as a carry hero, since he could build strength to get all his damage from God Strength.
10 seconds
It'll be
remaining.
interesting to see what Sven goes to build. Hopefully Crash will be playing the Sven, will choose to go for an
5
early
seconds
BKB this
remaining.
time, instead of going for a greedy build like he did the last time. Sven, so far in the ODL 1, has had a 0% win
Reserve
rate.
time.
Every single Sven game I've seen, when he's played as a carry, he tapers off very quickly. He usually goes for weird skill builds like the one SM Believe did, where they went for maxing out Cleave during the laning phase for the Sven, then went for Mask of Madness' first big item. Didn't work at all. Sven just fed the entire game, didn't achieve anything. And they had a tri-lane Sven. I think it was See and Believe again. They seem to like their Sven. Didn't accomplish anything once again. Didn't have the aggressive tri-lane coming out from them. Pudge ban out from 2IP. A respect ban to Arab King, who I think has something like 300 Pudge games played. So fairly competent Pudge player. Another ban coming out from Recursion for their fifth ban. They want to start banning out
10
offlanes
seconds
now.
remaining.
But it's pretty tricky considering the fact that Timbersaw does win a lot of 1v1 matchups.
5
There are very
seconds
few offlane
remaining.
heroes that beat him. Darkseer is one of them just because Iron Shell
Reserve
ignores
time.
the reactive armor. But other than that, there are a few ranged heroes that actually can't do well against them. They could perhaps pick up something like a Marana if one of their players can play Marana. As Marana in a 1v1 matchup with Timbersaw has a pretty good lane. It breaks even for both heroes. It's difficult for either one to kill the other, as if Timbersaw Timber Chains in, Marana can leap out, and unless Marana lands an arrow, it's difficult to kill Timbersaw, but that matchup is in favor of the Marana. So Nyx Assassin ban. Nyx Assassin, another
Radiant
hero that
team
works
pick.
very well against the Timbersaw, because you can use the Mana Bone to control him in lane. And Centaur Warrunner picked up.
Dire
I'd have
team
to hand the
pick.
advantage over the Timbersaw and the Centaur v Timber lineup, just because Welling Death cuts through the Centaur Warrunner's HP pool, as well as dealing a lot of damage, and the harassment, you can use it to farm, push up the wave, as well as to harass him at the same time. Keeps Timbersaw low, keeps the Warrunner low, so the instant you hit 6, you could go for a kill attempt with your Chakram up. However, at the same time, Centaur Warrunner has a superior animation, superior base attack, so if he's able to deny
10
Timbersaw
seconds
low
remaining.
the old-fashioned way, you can actually lock him down that place. And Tuskarr picked up, so Recursion saying, screw the late game draft we went last time, we was way too greedy. This time we're going for early to mid game. Very heavy gank lineup. So Virgil Turd played Nature's Prophet, just went at jungle AFK Nature's Prophet, didn't really accomplish anything during that entire game. Did push down one tower, but fed a lot of kills. Went in for a disastrous level 1 gank over in the bottom lane, where he just fed kills for no apparent reason. was picked off a lot by the Storm Spirit. Went for the Orc of Malevolence as his first big item, which is very strange. Well, it didn't really work out all too well, as Storm Spirit was able to pick up his BKB about 2-3 minutes after he finished his Orc. Crash, the carry player for Recursion, up on the Sven. Arab King, their mid player, over on the Timbersaw. We could actually be seeing a Timbersaw mid and an offlane Tuskarr, although I'd prefer to see Tuskarr in the mid lane. Drew's man, their captain, over on the Tuskarr. Regnad and Virgil Toad, support players, over on the IO as well as the Disruptor, respectively. Yoda King Tut, captain over for 2IP, playing the offlane Centaur Warrunner. He's going to be having a very good game. He's got Stout Shield, Tangos, as well as the Ring of Protection, so very tricky to bring down. Mule looks like he's going mid once again over on the Puck. Going for the same build he did last time over in the Storm Spirit, going for the Null Talisman, 2 GG branches being pulled, 2 Tangos. Standing Egyptian Slut, or Jamie, my flatmate. 5 position player for Horseman of Ruckus, standing in for 2IP, playing that Dazzle. Going up with Wolf Cunt.
30 seconds.
And Thunder Cunt. They seem to like the word cunt a lot, this team. Going over in the Vengeful Spirit, a bit of smack talk coming out with Wolf Cunt calling Seeker. Vengeful Spirit is actually very poor. Actually hasn't spent all of her gold, so I'm not too sure what the rationale for that is. Only has 2 Tangos as well as 1 ward. She gave the other one over to Centaur Warrunner, who's able to place an immediate sentry ward to provide him vision to make it very difficult for him to be ganked out. Looks like a level 1 engagement happens. Snowball catches out Thundercunt. He's going to be taking a fall. Eats a Stormbolt to the face. He's trapped in the edge field. And good play coming up from Recursion. Taking a page from Felfi and Friends' book, which is to smoke up as 5 at level 1, move into the jungle, see if he can pick off a hero on his own. They're able to take first blood of 2 IP. Wolf can't call him low. Guess he's a bit surprised. A lot of smack talk coming out between both teams. Keep in mind, this is a grudge match. And Virgil Turd rotating over alongside with Arab King, so is that a... No, that couldn't be a mid Disruptor. Is that a mid Disruptor? It looks like a mid Disruptor with a tri-lane Tuskarr. Disruptor, a very ineffective mid hero. He used to be much more effective back when Thunderstrike was only 3 procs instead of 4. Now that's mitigated over 4 procs, especially against a Puck. You could actually disjoin them very easily with the phase shift. Especially with the fact that he doesn't have any stat items, so the Mule's going to be having an absolute ball of a time up against the Disruptor, as he's got 1 armor and very low base damage, compared to Puck, who's hitting like a truck, has superior damage, has the phase shift, so he can trade hits favorably, and also has superior range. Disruptor has 500 range, and a slightly slower attack animation than the Puck. I'm just going to quickly log out of Steam, just before anything else happens. So the Mule just able to go poke and prod over at Virgil Turd. We see him use that phase shift to destroy the tower attack. He could attack him under the tower and just use his phase shift to prevent any damage he receives himself. Especially with the fact that phase shift no longer costs you any mana. Top lane, Arab King taking a fair amount of damage. Although King Tut also training as good as he gets. He's got that hoof stomp. The lock him in place, going for a few hits, and going for a kill attempt with a double edge. Have to keep in mind though that Arab King, he's doing what he's doing best, which is to spam out the Welling Death. Keep our Centaur Warrunner low, use it to farm back creeps as well as to harass him, as it takes away 15% of your primary stat. Drew's man on the Tuskarr hanging around. He wants to hit level 2 before he can really go in for another gank attempt, because he just has Snowball, which isn't really going to lock in place. Wolfco just tanks it, turns around, crash copy, a lot of damage from the Poison Touch. Reginald might take a fall. Ayo goes way too far forward. This is the issue with Wisp. 0 armor, very squishy, very poor positional play coming out from Regnad, and he instantly takes a fall. Magic Missile just blows him up. Vengeful Spirit says, get on my level. You took first blood from me, so I'm going to kill you in return. Mule actually ethereal jolting forward to get that CS. Unfortunately misses it. Guesses top for their own, guesses wrong. Bottom lane ruined for Virgil Turd, but Disruptor getting heavily beaten in this mid lane. He has 4 CS compared to 11 for over on Mule, as well as 2 denies. Same story as the last game, Mule controlling the mid lane, as he has the superior stat items. Hit better, has superior animation as well. The only lane controlling ability Disruptor has is Thunderstrike. He's actually choosing the maxed out Thunderstrike, which is another issue with Disruptor mid. As well, it does do a lot of damage against Puck. Most of that damage is wasted since you can phase shift dodge them, as well as the fact that if you don't have enough early points up in your glimpse, your team fight and ganking presence is heavily mitigated, as the reason why you pick up Disruptor is as a tri-lane support for the points up in glimpse to use that to control the enemies. Thunderstrike isn't going to be reliable enough to... You see him destroying one of them already, so that a fourth of his damage completely wasted. And considering the fact that Mule's able to heavily out-CS him in lane, Virgil Turd having a very difficult time. He can't trade as favorably as Puck can. You see him throwing out the orb. He could actually choose to go in on this, just because Virgil Turd has no kind of defensive capability. With a point up in Waning Rift, Mule could easily go in for a kill here. Choosing not to deny that range creep, which I thought was a bit surprising. He's bottling up, backing away, playing it safe. Going to point up in the Waning Rift, so a very standard build coming out from him. Over in the bottom lane, Wisp is hanging around with Crash, making sure she could get the tether off. Moving up to trying to get the spirits to use the harassment. Magic Missile flies over on Tuskarr. Bit of a miscommunication coming out there. Tuskarr snowballs back in, over into the Thundercut. The Thundercut might be taking a fall. Well, he's trapped 2 of his teammates in Crash, as well as Drew's man. Never mind, where is the Shadow Grave coming out from Dazzle? Dazzle takes a fall. Never mind, Dazzle runs away. Wolfcon takes a fall, but is able to bring down Tuskarr. So successful trailing gang. Actually, Egyptian Slot might be taking a fall himself. Never mind, no mana. Over from the Sven, gonna chase him down with the tether, hope he can try to get a kill with the spirits. Actually the spirit and one more right click, Crash actually cancelled that right click. Wolf is hanging around the back end, and Thundercunt might be actually be able to get a kill over on Crash if he's able to get that Magic Missile. Where's the Wolf block? Magic Missile flies out, and with the Wolf Micro, yeah, he takes a fall. Very messy trailing action happening here. Centaur Warrunner picks up a Tranquil Boots over against Arab King. Is out of mana. He's almost goes Arcane Boots though, so the lane's gonna be difficult for him. Goes in for the Hoof Storm, he's breaking even. Chose not to go for the double edge, just because he's got that reactive armor. So it actually hurts you as badly as it hurts him. He's got 2 points up in reactive armor, going for a much more defensive build against a Centaur Warrunner, which I don't understand. You usually only want 1 point of reactive armor. Especially when you're against a melee hero who isn't going to craze when he hits you. You want to max out that Welling Death or the Timber Chain. Since he's gone for the Welling Death build, you want to get that maxed out to level 4 as soon as possible, just because it is the majority of your burst damage until you get your Chakram. And once you get your Chakram, you're relying on your Welling Death to finish people off. So Crash isn't achieving all too much. Wolfcon is beating him in terms of 1 CS, but he's got more denies. And I guess he has died once, but so has Wolfcon. So trailing actually is fairly even. Recursion are leading 1 kill ahead, just because they got that first blood over in the jungle. Yoda utilizing his superior animation and superior damage. Eats a Welling Death to the face. It's going to harass him back a bit. Arab King is pretty even over in the mid matchup. Over in the top left matchup, sorry, with the offlaner v offlaner. Disruptor has 1 point up in Glimpse now, so only 600 range. It's not as good as having 2 points up in it, but surprised he chose not to go for 2 points up in Glimpse and then max out the Thunderstrike. So also would have made it a lot more effective. Looks like Thundercunt might get a called out position. Egyptian Slot as well as Thundercunt called out. Egyptian Slot running for his life. Dazzle, where's the Shallow Grave? Didn't have time to cast it, actually takes the fall. Free kill over in favor of Recursion. That's the power of the Trilane Tusk, because you have that Snowball. Actually catching 2 IP by surprise is if you're caught in a position, the Snowball followed up by the Stormbolt will lock you in place. You also have the Ice Blast coming out from him to completely freeze you in place for 5 seconds. You can't run away. Tread's picked up on Sven. And we've got Mule rotating bot. He's got the Dream Coil up, but the rotation was spotted out. So it looks like he's going to group up as 4 and take the bottom tower. While it's happening, Disruptor, he's hanging around. He needs to either go mid or commit bot. He can't fight bot since he doesn't even have his ultimate, so he should go to the mid lane, take as much EXP as he can while he can. Lycanthrope, Wolfcon leading with 2 kills. He's got 1 death though, but other than that, he has been doing fairly well for himself in terms of CS. He's breaking even with the Sven. He's actually got more last hits than the Sven. Since Sven's been playing very carefully and very cautiously. If he overextends, he'll be blown up.
The Radiant should really do something about
especially
that
with the puck waiting in the wings with the Waiting Rift as well as the Illusory Orb and the Dream Coil. Ice Shot so catches out 2 in front of tower range. Great play from him. Actually, Illusory Orb disjointed by the Snowball. Very good play. Wolfcon's going to take a fall. The fact that the Illusory Orb was disjointed meant that Tuskarr lives for a bit longer. Glimpses him back. Level 1 Glimpse. Egyptian Slot might be taking a fall. He takes a fall as well. Recursion able to take a lot of kills. Io takes a fall. Ethereal Jaunt. No, he's not going to Ethereal Jaunt over that way. Puck is running away as far as possible. Tuskarr has TP'd over to the bottom lane to run more support. Waning Rift, that's only level 1 Waning Rift.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
And he's gonna live. My god, Puck survives through all of that. Wolfcut is able to TP back into the lane while it's happening. Centaur Warrunner in the top lane. Would have liked to see maybe a stampede from him, but he recognized that the damage has already been done. So he's going to continue to farm the top lane. He's 700 gold away from his Blink Dagger, so 2/3 of the way through. In terms of EXP, 500 EXP in favor of Recursion. And in terms of gold, 500. Very minimal difference, considering the fact they're actually ahead in kills. It's just due to the superior CSing skills over on the Radiant side. They have much more CS. And you see Wolfcunt rescuing Mule, cutting a path through with all those trees. And Thundercunt saying, shh, don't give it away. As if Arab King had his Chakram, he actually could have gone for a kill if he knew where Puck was. While it's happening, Disruptor over in the middle lane did get a very good glimpse off in that last fight. Was able to secure the kill over on the Dazzle. Has a point up in the Static Storm now. But the issue of Disruptor as a mid hero is he doesn't scale very well into the late game. And doesn't really do as much in the mid position as another hero would. Puck, for instance, scales very well to the late game just because he has so much utility from his Waning Rift from his Dream Coil. And from the fact that he actually hits surprisingly hard. Once you start picking something up like a Sheep Stick, Puck actually outputs a fair amount of DPS. Disruptor, I guess you could go for an Aghanim Scepter, but beyond that, that's about all you could really do. And it's 4.4k before, 4.2k before you become really effective, compared to Puck, who the instant he has a Blink Dagger, becomes incredibly dangerous. About 1000 gold away from his Blink Dagger. Jamie doing a bit of dewarding over on the Dazzle. He's returned back to the mid lane, he wants to bully back to Disruptor some more. He has to keep in mind though that level 4 Thunderstrike does actually do a fair amount of damage, so he has to destroy it one if he wants to survive. If he cops all 3 of them, he will actually take a fall. So he's been bottle crawling, he's sending the courier back with his bottle. Can use his illusory orb to farm from a distance. It was a pity that his illusory orb was disjointed by the Tuskarr snowball, as that would have instantly killed Io and brought Tusk down to very low HP, so it would have been to kill those two at the start of the fight instead of at the very end. Tuskarr, once he gets his Walrus punched, contributes a fair amount of DPS, and these engagements it also provides you the snare as well as the CC from you knocking them up into the air for a few seconds. Wolfcant, he's almost got his Vladimir's offering, very slow Vlad from him. He had it at 6 minutes and 30 seconds in the last game. In the top lane looks like a few engagements happening. Arab King cops a double edge to the face. Yoda just runs back, he's going to wait till his Tranquil Boots gives him regeneration, or is he just going to run completely out of lane? He's got 50 gold away from his Blink Dagger, so I guess he's happy with that. He's going to passively wait until he gets the gold for his Blink Dagger, then start engaging around the map. He's got Stampede, level 3 Hoof Stomp, as well as a 4 double edge. Huge amount of burst damage. If he goes on Wisp, he could kill him instantly. There's nothing Wisp can really do against that combination of the Stampede, the Hoof Stomp, Blink into Hoof Stomp, and then the double edge to follow with maybe one right click. Wisp will take a fall. 1 armor, very squishy hero. Blink Dagger picked up on him. So you've got the double Blink combination coming out with Puck as well as Centaur Warrunner, a huge amount of ganking initiation power. Arab King actually picks up a double damage, throws out a Chakram, misses, Mule just backs away. It's 100 mana he's wasted. One of the things you have to keep in mind was the Timbersaw is his mana. He chews through his mana very quickly with the Chakram. And that's why Arcane boots his core on him before he can start ganking. He chose to pick up a Planeswalker's Cloak to mitigate some of the double edge damage he's going to take from Centaur Warrunner in lane, but considering the fact that Centaur can't actually go for killing them, Egyptian Slot actually called out with the snowball, Stampede pop, stuck in, actually great 2-man Hoof Stomp into the double edge. Crash is going to take a fall, he's called Fire Red position, eats the poison touch to the face. Yoda's still alive, where is the Shallow Grave? Illusory Orb catches him out, Wolfcant has a Shallow Grave. Yoda takes a fall, but Arab King also takes a fall as well, so 1 for 3. Wisp running away, fleeing for his life. Disruptor didn't have a TP scroll, wasn't able to contribute to that fight at all. Wasting a lot of time going over to the bottom lane, then going back mid. He should have just stayed mid, recognizing he didn't have a TP. And on top of that, Puck is able to pick up his Blink Dagger, so double Blink combination coming out from Puck. So you see that Recursion, when they win these tri-lane engagements is when they're able to initiate with that snowball. Now that you have 2 Blinks up on both the Centaur as well as the Puck, you can't do that anymore. If you choose to snowball on them, I can actually blink outside the snowball range, or worse, blink closer towards your teammates, so you actually overcommit with the snowball and find yourself caught out of position. Or you could choose to blink and engage on them. As you see right now, Virgil Turd eats the Hoof Stomp. He's going to eat the double edge to the face when he's low enough to bring him down. One more right click. Never mind, he didn't combo up with the double edge fast enough, and so Virgil Turd actually gets to live, but he's driven out of lane. Wolfcant, IO relocates on his own. He could have actually turned around and killed him there.
Many thanks.
It's just this little ball, can't actually do all too much on his own. The spirits do a fair amount of damage, but none of them actually popped. And so wasted relocate gank, didn't even have to Sven with him. That must have been miscommunication between the two, as he was close enough to Sven. I thought he was doing that from the jungle. Looks like Sven's building towards a Chrysalis as his first big item. I disagree with this heavily. Sven, you usually want to go for drums into BKB and then build your crit item. Or even something like an Assault Cuirass. If you go for crit as your first big item, A, you don't have cleave, so you're not actually outputting that much DPS. And Sven, he hits very slowly, he doesn't have any form of attack.
The Radiant should really do something about that
average.
middle tower.
You see right now, he's getting 1 attack per second. So there's having a slight chance to be able to land 1 crit with all those attacks. Very minimal. You want to increase your stat pool and get off more than 1 Stormbolt in the fight.
That's not gonna hold.
As right now, if he pops his Gold Strength, pops his Warcry, and throws out Stormbolt, he's completely dry of mana. He doesn't even have a Magic Wand as well. Rookie mistakes coming out from the Sven. You want to make sure that you have a Magic Stick. So since if you have being able to throw the second Stormbolt is very critical, especially if people are fleeing away from you. You want stats up on Sven. Since Sven is also very slow, I guess he's got the IO relocate as well as the tethered ride and movement speed, but I would have liked to see drums of endurance or even rushing towards the BKB. Those would be better pickups, considering the fact that all the damage coming out from 2 IP is magic, with the exception of the Dazzle Shadow Word. You want to mitigate as much damage as you can, especially when you're a strength hero who's very slow and has to run up close to be able to do your damage. Without a BKB, Dazzle can control you in these fights just by throwing a poison touch on you and just walking away. Centaur Warrunner can blink Hoof Stomp to lock you in place and then bring you down with the double edge if you get too low. And we've got both teams grouping up in the bottom lane.
Radiant's
Sven
top
pops
tower is under
Stampede.
attack.
Stampede popped over
Time.
by the Sven reaction. Gets in. 4-man Dream Coil. Static Storm dropped over on Mule. Mule might be taking a fall. He's able to get 4 people in place. Yoda King actually silenced up. He's not able to get off a good hoof stomp. Finally gets off a double edge to bring him down. Thundercut might be able to kill Tuskarr. Nevermind's called out. Great initiation counter initiation coming out from Recursion. As that Static Storm actually won them the fight. Arab King's gonna take a fall to Wolfcut, so 2 kills over on him. Virgil the Toad's also gonna take a fall. Nevermind, 2 IP are turning around. They trade favor, and Wisp, he's gonna be returning right back to the bottom lane. Don't know what the hell he was doing with that. And that Medallion Courage, nevermind. Poison Touch is locking in place, but he's able to tether to a creep, and they're choosing not to dive this, so Wisp actually survives. Great play coming out from Wisp. I don't know where he relocated to. I guess he used that to keep himself alive, so he could use that tether to keep himself safe during that engagement. But that Static Storm completely turned the fight around, as it silenced Mule, enabled Timbersaw to bring him down, and it also silenced Yoda before he could go in with the hoof stomp or the double edge. So in the end, he was just forced to blow out his double edge, killed himself doing it as he took too much damage. And yeah, very even engagement coming up from both sides. That was a 4-man Dream Coil. If the Static Storm hadn't dropped, that easily could have been a wipe for Recursion, and 2 IP would have been able to take 3-4 kills off the back of that. Chrysalis up on Sven, but once again, it's not resolving Sven's biggest weaknesses, which is a slow movement speed and slow attack speed. It doesn't matter how much damage you do if you're dead or if you can't even hit them to begin with. And the thing to keep in mind with Sven is he gets all the damage he needs in the mid game from the God Strength. You don't want to build damage on Sven, you want to build survivability so you can get that damage off. Then you want to build damage once you have your BKB up, because then you have a reliable source of it, and that's when your God Strength starts to falter off. So having that crit gives you that much more damage. Thundercunt, he's got to be careful. He knows that there's a snowball ult coming out, but while that happens, Wolfcunt takes a free Roshan. Very standard Vengeful Spirit build, maxing out the Magic Missile, then the Howl of Terror. That negative armor, especially in conjunction with Medallion of Courage over on Wolfcunt, means that there's a sick amount of DPS coming out. Also, you have to keep in mind the fact that Dazzle has Weave, and so Dazzle's able to manipulate armor values just as well, so you've got a strong negative armor strat coming out from 2 IP. So even though they only have 1 physical right clicker, which is the Lycanthrope, their other heroes can actually contribute a fair amount of physical DPS as well. Since you've got low armor, it doesn't matter who's hitting you, you're going to take a lot of damage. Mule with his Blink Dagger, probably going to go finish up his treads for that survivability. And then start building towards, I'd like to say a Sheepstick, because it's a great survivability item for him. He's got 4 points up in the Waning Rift though, so he's got a huge amount of teamfight presence. Waning Rift has a massive AoE, it's a 3-second silence. It's a critical factor. You saw how effective the Glimpse was in that last fight coming out from the Disruptor. If he could blink on him, get the Waning Rift, and then Dream Coil, he could actually turn that fight around. Actually, that's probably one of the reasons why he screwed up there. He went for the Dream Coil before the Waning Rift, and so they could turn around and stun him once he Dream Coiled. Lycan has disconnected. I think Wolfcunt's having a few issues, so we're just going to wait until he reconnects. Looks like Yoda's internet's pretty bad, so they're having a fair few issues on their end. He's gone for treads, so hopefully he'll be going towards the Necronomicon this time. The issue I have with Lycan building treads before he goes for his Necronomicon is a timing specific item. The earlier you get it, the more damage you do, and since he maxed out Feral Impulse, he has 30 attack speed, which is the equivalent that treads gives you. And he has that 30% base attack as well, so you don't necessarily need to build damage on him. What you instead want to build is pushing capability from that Necro book, as your Necro minions inherit the Feral Impulse, as well as the unit walking and max movement speed from Shapeshift, and you also have to Howl on top of that to provide them more damage. Chakram barely misses, Arab King just wasting more of his mana. Hasn't really been too efficient with his mana in these engagements. He always seems to enter engagements at half mana or less than that, so he's only able to throw out 1 Chakram or 1 Willing Death before he's completely dry. Looks like he's going towards a Blade Mail as his first big item. Would have perhaps, I guess it's not a bad pickup over in the Timbersaw, especially since he's up in the thick of it. If he's able to finish it in the next few minutes, it could actually be quite beneficial. Mule going in for some cheeky right clicks on the tower with his illusions. Illusions are copying the spirits flying out from the Io. They haven't been all too effective. Looks like both teams are just massing in the bot lane. Disruptor running around, he has a haste rune. Just a few pokes coming up, but Timbersaw is very low on mana. He's got 12 stick charges though, and the arcane boots over from his allies to keep him up in mana. But you want to enter engagements with Timbersaw with as much mana as possible, just because it means that not having the ability to throw out your spells, not having the mana to use your abilities, so it can mean an extra kill that you could get. Wolves is doing some cheeky harassment. You saw how much damage those wolves did. Lycan can continue to summon his wolves and use that as a form of slow siege. And it looks like either team is unwilling to initiate on the other just because the tower is up for the Recursion. Puck doesn't want to blink into that. They don't want to fight underneath the tower. So they're just playing it very passively. I would like to see some of their players perhaps rotate over to the other two lanes, top as well as mid. There's a free lane to goal. It looks like going in. Catches out 2 with the hoof stomp initiation. Mule goes and silences all 5. Gets a dream coil on the rest. Looks like a complete wipe for Recursion. As Virgil takes a fall. He doesn't even have a moment to cast any of his ability. He drops before he catches a single ability off. And that's the initiation power coming out from the Stampede, coming out from the Waning Rift. Catches out 2 with the hoof stomp. Turned around with the snowball. Waited until the snowball ended this time before throwing out the Waning Rift. All 5 heroes for Recursion will silence. Then follow up with the Dream Coil. Great engagement. That's 2 lanes of towers. That's 2 towers you're going to lose in that lane. And they could even transition over to the mid lane now. Take that tower. 2 IP. The Death Ball has started rolling. The double blink initiation coming out from those two proved to be too much. Vengeful Spirit saved their swap until the very end. Centaur Warrunner picked up his blade mail before the Timbersaw picked up his. So that means that when he jumps in these fights, Timbersaw's actually going to cop a lot of damage himself. And Vengeful Spirit almost actually has the Bikheads. So the 4-5 position Vengeful Spirit getting enough gold to finish off in the Tantrum. Double edge used on creep. Looks like Dazzle's going to be going forwards a 4-star. He almost has enough gold to finish it. With his tower kill, he will. Great pickup, especially against the Snowball.
Timber.
And Necrobook 2 instantly picked up on Lycanthrope. He's going to have level 3 very shortly. Still has his Aegis up. They're casually pushing down the Tier 2 tower in the mid lane. Mechanism's up for them. Huge lead over in favor of 2 IP. Wolfcut knows that if he dies, he has his ultimate up. So all he has to do is wait for the Aegis to respawn him and come back in. 2-man hoof stomp. Catches up Virgulator. Pops the blade mail. Mule gets a silence, actually only catches out 2. Static Storm, drop a Virgulator, might be taking fall from 1 more right click. Never mind, he's still alive. Yeah, he takes the fall. Wolf can't finish him off with a cheeky right click from the Wolf. Arab King runs in deep, takes the fall, but Vengeful Spirit falls down to the Ice Shards. Tuskarr's going to be taking a fall. He's got very low armor right now. 1 more right click from Wolfcut, and it looks like he's going to be able to get it. He's trapping him in place. Wisp winning for this as well. He takes a fall. JB actually disconnected during all this, so he's being microed by his teammates. Throws out a Shadow Wave. And so 2 for 3. Aegis is still up on Lycan. Keep that in mind. Never mind, it wore off in that fight. Either he died or he was able to, or the duration wore off. I think he might have actually died during that fight. Couldn't say for certain. Invisibility room going to be picked up by Mule. And either of the team's going to wait for Dazzle to reconnect back in. Necro 3 picked up for 2 IP. Looks like they're just content with microing Jamie around. So Egyptian Slap being microed by Thundercunt, so the 2 support players holding hands. Going in for a few last hits. And Necronomicon 3 up on Lycanthrope. There we go, now they finally recognize something's not quite right. They go for a pause to say, Dazzle's being a bit quieter than usual. And then, that's the power of the Lycanthrope. 20 minutes in, he's taken 2 lanes of towers. So it's just the Tier 1 and Tier 2 in the top lane that's still left. That's a massive amount of gold that's just been injected over to the Radiant side. 10,000 EXP lead, and 12,000 gold lead. That's due to the Roshan kill that they got, as well as the kill lead, and all the towers. Also, you have to keep in mind that 2 IP are actually leading the scoreboard in terms of CS. Arab King's the only one that's been keeping on track. When you're the 3 position Centaur Warrunner has more net worth than Sven. Sven going for the very inefficient crit as his first item. Hasn't really helped him out at all during these fights. If he had something like a BKB, he could stand tall, ignore the magical damage coming out, and try to duke it out, but you also have to keep in mind the negative armor makes Sven a pretty mediocre pickup in this case, since while his base armor was buffed, it's not going to be the hold up to the Howler Terrors and Medallion of Courage, as well as the Dazzle Weave. So you see Lycan just running rings around him in these fights, since the only way Sven can hold people in place is with the Stormbolt. Outside the Stormbolt, he can't do a goddamn thing. So they're easily able to take the Tier 1 tower with no trade. All the ultimates are up for both teams, so they're grouping up now, perhaps for another fight. But Recursion definitely don't want to do this. Unless they're able to get the best initiation of their life, they're always going to be on the receiving end. Mule goes in with the initiation from the Stampede, gets a 3-man Dream Coil, pops the Waning Rift, Snowballs pops, he's able to disjoint the Waning Rift. Static Storm drop, catches out 2. Stand in, Jamie's taking a lot of damage, Blade Mail's been popped, and they actually wipe 5 for 1. GG called 21 minutes in. 2 IP, they're able to take a very convincing Game 2 victory, relying on their Lycan Death Ball once again. Great initiation coming out from Yoda, as well as Mule. And for 24 for 14, they're able to utilize the Lycan Death Blow to push down all their towers, win these fights, and GG's been called over from Recursion. Just gonna wait for the throne to explode to confirm.
The Dire's top tower is
I
doing
think it has
its
to be
best,
called by the
but it
captain,
doesn't
so
look
Eric
good.
has to be the one to call GG before the throne will explode. But at any rate, they're taking down the Iraq, so they don't
Dire's
really
structures
care
are
too
fortified.
much.
That's what that wispy glow. Radiant.
There we
victory.
go. Throne has exploded, so GG's been called. 22 minutes in, 2 IP, a convincing 2-0 victory up against Recursion. So I think that knocks Recursion out of the next stages. They don't have enough points to be able to qualify, unless the TYK happen to lose every single one of their next few games. But I don't think that's likely, as they're a very strong and well-coordinated team. So I think that might be it for tonight. I'll have to message all the captains to see if there are any games happening. But from the look of it, that could be it. I will be uploading the VODs shortly, so they should be available tomorrow. So that's 49 signing out.